Yo.
Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 179.
179. There's some juice happening this episode. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
We have a huge announcement, which I'm not going to make yet and make you guys wait for it. Huge announcement, though.
Yes, big.
Big, like super big.
Yeah.
And this is what I was talking about last episode, if you guys tuned in.
That
Fluff completely forgot. I'm like, how did you not know the announcement? I swear I thought you were trolling. I'm like, he's just
can't believe
that was like
I didn't make
good
the
cop,
connection.
bad cop, like hella. Like I was like, you're hyping this up. Good job, man. And then, but you're serious.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, boomer.
Yeah, but it's funny. So no, big announcement in a couple seconds. We'll drop that. Let's start with the poll, and then after the poll, we'll do the announcement, and then I want to talk about the other thing.
Okay. Right. Lots to talk about.
Right.
Lots to talk about. Okay. So last week we asked very important question and topical. New Meta Podcast question week. Now that Diablo Immortal has announced PC crossplay, does this change your general opinion of the game? Option 1, yes, huge announcement. Option 2, was already excited. Option 3, meh, still a mobile game. And coming in at 42.8% of the vote, yes, huge announcement. The other two are pretty split.
There we go. Proved right there.
It's big.
You know,
I mean, it really is big.
Good play, man. It's a really, really good play.
Also, huge vote turnaround. Like massive.
What do you mean? Started off
like
what?
Like that's like double our normal vote score.
Oh, you're saying number wise?
Yeah. So,
that's
a lot of people turning out for that vote.
Yeah, people are interested in it, man.
Or it just could be people look at my Twitter when the Immortal thing happens. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
What do we got for this week?
This week, I know everyone's favorite when we don't ask Diablo questions, but obviously, new league starts tomorrow. I'm freaking pumped. I know you are too, P, because I mean, Uber Awakener, like this is your moment.
Uber.
So, new meta podcast question of the week. Okay, I'm listening.
I need triple Uber. When they do triple Uber, I'm down.
Sure. Like hard league, Uber Elder would be Uber. Not Elder, sorry. Uber Awakener. Yeah.
I need Uber.
I
need three Ubers. Uber Elder.
I mean, it's technically Awakener. There's different tiers of Awakener. So like Awakener 8 would fall under like Uber. So like hard league would be Uber Awakener. But there'd be like 3 tiers because there's tiers of Awakener. So it's Awakener 8, it'd be Uber.
You lost everybody. You've lost
the PoE players get it. I lost you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So new podcast question week. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Sentinel expansion for Path of Exile? Option 1, oh my god, poggers. Option 2, meh. Option 3, no balance updates. What the fuck? And option 4, dog shit is. Tweet that out.
2 kind of negatives this week. I like that.
Yeah. Post that in chat.
Okay.
But right. Okay. Yeah. Let it on me.
Okay. The big announcement, guys. We have
big
for our next episode.
Yep. Which is not next week, but the week following.
Not next week. Correct. Yeah. Next week, there's no episode. It is going to be, I'm pulling the calendar up to make sure I don't get the date wrong. May 26th, Thursday, May 26th. We're going to start the podcast.
Episode 180.
We're going to start the podcast 30 minutes later than usual.
Yes.
We're going to start at 9:30 Central, 7:30 West Coast, 10:30 East Coast. We're going to have a special guest on.
Yeah.
Man himself, Wyatt Chang.
Wyatt mother fluffing Chang. Huge.
Wyatt's going to be on the podcast, man. This is insane. This is crazy. You know,
the first time we've been in a room together since BlizzCon 2018.
Yeah, this is something we've wanted for a long time. So we hung out at 19 too.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You know, but yeah, it'll be awesome. So we got Wyatt on. He's gonna jump in and we're gonna talk all kinds of stuff. It's not just gonna be
it's not just the
Immortal.
Like, obviously, we're gonna talk about Immortal because it's coming out in June. But like he's big hand in D3, so there's gonna be a lot to talk about there. And it's, listen to why I talk about stories. Period is just like it's just interesting. So
awesome. It's awesome. There's so many perspectives and stories and just cool things that he can, you know. We did a story time at one of the BlizzCons, and he was telling stories. It was awesome. Man.
Yeah.
So anyway, Wyatt's going to be on. I'm super excited for that. Super pumped.
We've been trying to get him on for 3 years.
Ever. Yeah, we've been trying to get him on the pod for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, when I asked him again recently, I was like, hey, so you going to come on? And he's like, let me check. And I was like, what?
Oh, shit.
Oh,
you've never said that before.
It's a hard no. I'm like, oh my God. And then he's like, yeah. When he came back and said yes, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Like a little disbelief, but it's cool, man. It's really cool. Wyatt's awesome guy. I'm really excited to have him on, honestly.
Yeah.
He's so cool. So that's episode 180.
Yep. 2 weeks.
And then again, 2 weeks from today.
No podcast next week. Late. I'll be in Mexico. Where are you going to be? What are you doing?
I'm going to be in Nashville. Next week. I have a
traveling.
Work trip to Nashville. Yeah. So
look at you.
We'll be in old Nashville. So if you guys are from the pod and you're from Nashville, hit me up if you want to stalk me and I don't know, maybe grab lunch or something.
Go to a country bar.
I've been in Nashville a couple times. It's an okay city. It's not bad.
Yeah.
All right. All right. We got more juice though.
Yeah.
Just besides the Wyatt. This weekend.
Yes.
This weekend, you went and filmed a reality TV show.
I did.
Dating in Kansas City. I don't actually know the name of it.
It's called Local Love.
Local Love.
Yeah.
Okay. Fluff was making some local love this weekend in Kansas City. And so tell me about it, man. I cannot, I swear, guys, if you're not already following me on Twitter, you need to do it because when I find this shit online, I'm streaming it live. We're going to all react to it live and watch Fluff's episode. I'm ecstatic to watch this thing.
Yeah.
So tell me about it.
Yeah. So it took
I want
place,
all the details too.
It took place at a place called Pawn and Pint, which I think we talked about last week. It's like a board game place, right? It's a board game place that serves alcohol. And so right out of the gate, I'm like, that's stupid. I would never go on a first date at a place that's like board games. It's like where people like go to competitively play like Dungeons and Dragons. And it like the smells match.
What did you tell them that you're a nerd? Did you tell them like
I said I was like a pro gamer, and so they're like, "Oh, cool, nerd. Let's take them to Pawn and Pint," which is a pretty nerdy place. And so I go there, and they like pull me aside. They didn't want me to see like who I was on the blind date with. Her name was Ashley, and so like beforehand, they're like asking me all these questions, and right out of the gate, I like didn't feel great because I'm answering like they're asking me like, okay, what are you looking for? Like, what do you?
None of these screeners before you showed up.
Well, obviously, yeah, but they're like asking me with a camera in my face.
Oh, gotcha.
So they can do it for the show. And literally every response I gave, they're like, "Oh, hang on a minute, can you reword that and say it this way?" And I'm like, "Well, like I kind of said it the way I said it, you know, because I'm like I'm me." And they're like, "Yeah, but like, I think your point comes across better if you say it this way." But you're making me say something entirely different. And I immediately was like just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
so producers are spinning the show already out of the.
They're already like staging everything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then before I go in, they're like, "Oh, and say it was your idea to go to Pawn and Pint because like you're a gamer." And I'm like, "But it fucking wasn't my idea to go to Pawn and Pint." And they're like, "No, it's like it's good for Kansas City, like it's going to draw attention to Pawn and Pint and blah blah blah." I'm like, "Yeah, but it wasn't my fucking idea to go here. So like, what do you mean?" They're like, "Yeah, just say it."
Say it.
And so I'm like, "Hey, fine, whatever. Yeah, it was my idea to go to fucking Pawn and Pint. Like, great."
Wait, did you have to sign anything saying that you wouldn't yap about behind the scenes stuff or not?
No.
Okay, good.
And so, yeah, and so, I told everybody in chat last week, like, I don't want to date anyone that has kids, or at least like if they have kids, like maybe they're out of home,
kids.
or
Let's
like
be real.
I don't like kids. I don't want to be around kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like let's boil
honestly,
it down
it's
to
true. Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, your kids are fun, like it's fine to be around them sometimes, but like I just don't want to deal with that full time. Period.
Yeah, ever. Yeah, I get it.
And so yeah, I made that pretty clear. Like before I went on the show, I was like, I don't really want to date with kids, and Like that lifestyle is just not appealing to me. And I'm like, okay, cool. I think we can find somebody. Like, okay, whatever. And so I walk up and they have us like, stage. So like I come around the corner, she comes around the corner, and we meet. And it's like, okay, like attractive levelness, not great. Not like like she's not like an unattractive girl or anything like that. But like I'm not like, whoa, like I'm blown
like,
away.
Yeah.
But it seemed like put together. So, we meet and then we walk in and then they're like, oh, let's do that again because we got the reflection of us in like the window. So I had to like re-meet her again
and act like it was
like it wasn't a thing. We go in, they're like, oh, we got to do it one more time. So we go back out, we come around the corner and it's like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. I'm fucking Vaughn. Actually cool. And then they had one more time. So we met 4 fucking times. Like, it's just like so cringe because it's just like you're in this like weird like moment of like now we
just met them.
We're like acting. We're literally acting. Yeah. I'm like I don't have any stage experience. Like I didn't channel any characters before I came here. Like what? I don't know what I'm doing. So we finally go in and they're like, okay, you're gonna like hang out in here. So now I'm thinking like, okay, now it's just like the date and we're like everything's gonna be chill. I still don't know anything about this girl. But maybe she's really cool. And so like we go to this game section. I'm like, wow, that's like a lot of fucking games. And like we're browsing and then we like go to pick up Jenga and they're like, wait. Like we have one picked out for you. We have a game.
It's like Dirty Minds or some shit.
Yeah. And so it's like, it was like an appropriate game, right? It was an appropriate game for like a first date. It was like getting to know people, whatever. And so like, and they're like, yeah, but we want you to say like, oh, you've played this before. This is a good game. And I'm like, again, like I don't know anything about this game. I don't play fucking board games. It's not my pick. Like, I just hate that. I hate you're making me like be this person. Anyways, so I get this board game. We sit down and then we like the sit down part that like they really didn't interject a lot. A couple times they're like, hey, Vaughn, ask her about her tattoos. Or hey, Vaughn, like when I found out she had kids, ask about her kids. And it's like, okay, like, thank you. Like, I have no free will. Cool. This is great.
Right.
And and so she like immediately, like pretty early on, she's like, yeah, I have 2 kids, like 1 6, 1 2. And I was like, okay, cool. And I tried to like not convey my like utter disappointment.
You're like, I have 2 kids.
Yeah. And then immediately my follow-up was not like, oh, what are their ages? And they're like, hey, ask about the kids. And I was like, okay. But in my mind, I'm like, I know what I want to ask. And so I'm like, do you travel? She's like, well, I'm a full-time mom, so I can't really travel. And so it's like, for me, it's like, okay, we're dead in the water here. Like, this is a total waste of my fucking time. But like, I'm going to play this out and I don't want to be a dick, and whatever.
Yeah. And
so we play it out and, at the end, I'm thinking they're going to ask like, they're going to pull one of us into a room or they're going to have one of us stand outside and they're going to be like, what did you think about the date? And like, you're going to be able to like give your thoughts and stuff like that. And so I'm like, okay. And so I'm going to be nice and be like, oh, I wasn't really feeling it or whatever. But instead, she was in the fucking room and they're like, what did you think about Ashley when you first saw her? And she's like right there. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm a good human being to my core. So I was like, oh, she was really pretty. And like, she seemed like she had a bubbly personality. Like, and I had to like, and they're like, oh, would you go out with her again? And again, she's right fucking there. And I'm like, oh, like maybe like on a friendly or, possibly romantic level, we could go out again or whatever. Like I was trying to be as nice as possible, but she's right fucking there. And it's just like, so did they ask her
the same stuff?
They did, but like I was able to leave. And so as soon as they were done with me, I was like, okay, like what a weird experience. I'm out of here. And they're like, we'll call you on the 11th if she chooses you. Obviously did not choose me. I think she probably gauged pretty quickly on her responses. Like, I have 2 kids. I was like, oh, that's cool. Oh, and she was like, do you want kids? I was like, no. So,
oh my God.
It was real fucking stage. It was real cringe. I mean, I'm glad I did it because it's like, well, that's a peek into like what that world looks like.
So how long did it take you to come up with the lie to us all that it was staged to cover up your true responses?
Yeah. super. I mean, it's gonna like, people that watch me stream, and you knowing me, you're gonna watch it and be like, yeah, like this feels weird. Yeah. It's gonna be evident. Man. But there's like, I mean, honestly, the date portion where they like just let us chat and like that was an okay time when we had like to draw each other.
They have cameras all up in your face, or are they far enough away where it wasn't like awkward?
They had like 3 cameras on us at all times.
Like how far away were they though? Were they
like 2 were right there. Like one was to get like camera 1 of her face, the other one's to get camera 1 of her face, and then the other one was to like kind of film what we were doing. And then they had like the boom like right there. And there's a couple times I'm like, I feel like that's in the frame, but I'm like trying to like.
You're not saying anything. Yeah, like you amateurs, come on, dude. Like, hold on, professional podcast and streamer here. You need to back.
I did name drop New Meta Podcast, so hopefully that airs.
Yeah, there you go. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny, dude. What a trip. Like, even though it was as weird as it was, that's an experience, man. You have to do it. You have to do it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a 0% chance I would decline that if I were single and that opportunity came around. I'd be like, let's go, just because you have to.
Yeah. I think knowing what I know now, like would I ever do another one? No. But
why not?
It had to be like the format had to be good, or I had to like know like going into it that like the people were going to be actual like, what's the word? Like people I would actually be like super interested in or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where can you watch it? We don't know yet. But when I find it, I promise
it's like KMBZ in Kansas City, which is like a local station. It's like a big local station, but it's a local station. It's going to be on that, and then they have a streaming service. So I think it's going to be on demand. I will let you guys know. Obviously, I'm actually going to be gone when it airs, so you might be able to live stream it before I even get back.
See it?
So
that's awesome. Yep, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
What did you say that was? KNVC?
KMBZ?
KMBZ?
Yeah.
As in zebra? All right. I'm writing that down so I don't forget. KMBZ. Got it.
I see you writing it down.
I better write it somewhere you can't edit, so you can't erase it.
Yeah.
Sure. That's cool, man. What a don't you do it. I think you son of a bitch. KMBZ. He's erasing my notes live. Like live, he's erasing my notes. All right, hold on. I'm putting this
somewhere else. Somewhere safe.
I'll text myself. But that's awesome, man. It's a fun experience. I'm excited to watch it. Just for the entertainment value, I think it'll be good.
Yeah. It was pretty cringe, but
yeah. I'm literally texting myself that, so you can't erase it. KMBZ. Got it. Done. All right. Let's jump into some game stuff. What do you say?
Stuff. Coming out of the pipe here. Diablo 3 celebrates 10 years. I can't believe it's only been 10 years.
It feels like longer, doesn't it?
But yeah. On May 12th, 2022, we celebrated 10 years of Diablo 3. Exactly 10 years ago from that day.
May 12th. Yeah, today.
Mm-hmm.
Today.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
10 years ago today, it dropped, man. What were you doing 10 years ago today? I can tell you what I was doing.
That would have been 2012.
36 or 38 or 30, whatever.
I was my first year of my post-college job. Post-grad school job. And I was landing this game. And for the first time, I experienced something that is a weird phenomenon for me. And this is the first time it ever happened to me, was if I game for a really long time. And this was like, Diablo 3 had just come out. So I can go, right? So I was going for like 50 something hours straight. And I had this like eye thing. I have this weird eye thing that happens sometimes. If I game too hard, like my eyes will flash. Like a little strobe, even when my eyes are closed. So the only thing I can do is just like not look at a screen for like 5 hours, and that's the only way to fix it. But it's only happened like 4 times since then. But that was the very first time it happened, was when I playing Diablo 3 for the first time.
For 50 hours.
For 50 plus hours, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what caused that. For sure.
I was in my friend's basement. We were all playing it together.
I remember the last LAN party I went to, man. It's been that long. I went to a LAN party and it was Classic WoW. It was near the end of Classic WoW, and we had probably like 10 people. Everybody brought their PCs. You know,
Okay.
we're all the couple of us that were computer nerds brought over switches and all kinds of shit, folding tables and chairs, and we all juiced up a LAN party. It's been that long. Guess they're dead now. Internet killed them. So.
Goddamn.
But yeah, man, 10 years ago.
What were you doing for the D3 launch 10 years ago?
I had pre-ordered it, and
because you got it through WoW. Like you were not a true D fan.
I was not. Well, no, I was not a true Diablo fan through and through. I played Diablo 2 a little bit, but I wasn't hooked on it. I got it because WoW offered like you buy a year subscription to WoW, and then you got Diablo 3 for free.
Bundle.
I was like, I'm gonna play WoW anyways. Sure, why not?
Doc leave.
I ended up buying box copies of it later. I got my brother a copy, so I bought a box for him, and I bought myself a box as well. So I still have some, but yeah, I was trying to play. I just remember on launch day not being able to play. That's all I remember. I don't remember any of the details. I remember being in voice chat, which was probably Ventrilo or Skype back then. Probably Ventrilo, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Ventrilo.
But I remember being in Vent with two of my buds, maybe more, but there's two that I specifically remember, and that we were all trying to play and we couldn't get in. And then I remember, once the errors were gone, which was, I don't know if it was 24 hours or the whole weekend. I can't remember how long it lasted, but I do remember we eventually got in.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, Monk seemed to be pretty unbalanced at the time. At launch, Monk was a very strong class. And I was playing Barb, and my buddy was just tearing shit up on his Monk. And I was struggling on Belial a little bit. So
Belial was fucking tough. Yeah.
I remember getting to Belial, and like that was my hard stop. That was like a brick wall. I'm like, okay, I can't beat him in my current gear. I have to get something.
Yeah.
So then I was like farming pots, trying to get gold in the Skeleton King room. I was farming pots. Did you do that? Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
I was farming the pots in the Skeleton King room, trying to get gold to go to the real money auction house to buy lifesteal weapons so I could kill Belial. And then my buddy rolled through on his Monk, and he's not even that good. And he one-shot him. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on, man? I'm like, should I need to re-roll Monk right now, or what's happening?
Right.
So, but yeah, man, that was, those are the memories I have from launch week or weekend, the time frame's sketchy now, but that's what I remember from launch. Yeah. Good stuff, man.
But yeah, so what's going on?
So Diablo put a 10-year anniversary post out, and happy 10 years to Diablo. The first thing that they said on there, if I remember correctly, is the Echoing Nightmare update. So the seasonal theme for season 26, I believe it is right now, right?
Yep.
Is going to stay permanent. It's a permanent in-game feature. They've announced it already. We don't have to wait to the end of the season for that announcement. I figured it would stay in. I figured once they added it, it would be in the game forever. It's okay. I mean,
Yeah, we've talked about it.
It's a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid for an issue that's there, but it doesn't fix the issue. It's just a Band-Aid, and we can talk about it more in a little bit if you want. But
we've kind of.
And then the second thing they talk about is they're doing double bounties. So the fan favorite returns of all the quick hit.
That's the best one.
Mid-season events. This is the best one by far.
Bounties suck.
Yeah, bounties do suck. And then they have a store, which I think I threw a link in there if you have it open. Yep, for some Diablo 10-year anniversary stuff. Poster is kind of dope. I like it.
Not $150.
It's expensive, man. Yeah, I said poster. Is it a frame poster?
Yeah,
it might be a canvas. I'm not sure.
Print.
Yeah, $150. It's kind of expensive.
Bro, you could literally get on the internet and print this out and put it in a frame. I mean, I don't want take money away from Bliss, but I mean, this picture is literally everywhere on the internet.
That's a lot. Framing stuff is rather expensive. If you've never, have you ever gone to frame anything? By the way, and I'm not sure if that's a nice frame or not. I don't know, but
I took my degree framed. That was pretty cheap.
Was it?
Yeah, even a custom like Mizzou frame and everything.
I didn't get mine framed. Actually, I'm lazy. I'm cheap. I went to get a poster or a jersey. I have a signed autographed Kurt Warner jersey.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, let me get this framed. It's never been worn. And I took it to a couple different framing places, and they were like $500-$600 to frame that thing.
Wow.
I was like, what? Are you serious? They do have some cool things on this 10-year artwork anniversary thing or merchandise. So check it out if you're interested in any cool thing. I think the poster is good. The thing that I like the most in this whole store, I think, is the 36-inch gaming Diablo 4 mouse mat. I actually like that. It's up towards the top a little bit.
Yeah, the thing.
You see that thing? Like I would actually that's.
I would take the one that like someone
that's the
made.
canvas.
Oh, okay.
Keep going. There it is. Yeah. That's the mouse mat, and it's like $30. That seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, it's way more reasonable than. Anyway.
So, yeah, I can't use it though. I have a mouse that the mouse mat charges my mouse.
Like, what is this hat? Like, you can do better than that.
I don't know.
Anyways.
They gave me a Diablo 4 hat. See that black Diablo 4 hat?
Yeah, that one's way better.
$20.
Way better.
They gave me that. I have that hat from BlizzCon 19.
Oh.
But it's like super tiny. It's like for small head people. Like I could never wear it.
This tumbler's not bad.
Yeah, tumbler's cool.
Anyways. Okay.
Fanboy now. I think that's it. I don't think there was anything else in that post.
One more I forgot to talk about last week.
Yeah, I did see this.
Someone posted this on Reddit. So there is a adult entertainment club in Dudley, England, strip club chat, and the emblem looks a little familiar.
Yeah, have you seen that
place? It's
before?
Called Demons.
The font, the emblem, like everything about it, man. Like that's like, I don't know if you could rip it off any harder without. Listen, I'm not even mad. I would totally go there
just to take a picture with the logo.
Just because.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Yeah, totally.
Why else would I go?
Totally.
So.
Yeah,
Dudley, England. I don't know where that's at, but
yeah,
I'm googling it.
It's in England.
That's the next trip.
There it is.
Is that the next spot we're heading up?
BlizzCon UK. We'll just hit that up.
Dudley, England's 80,000 population. So.
Wow, not bad.
There we go.
Okay, is that the Diablo stuff?
That's the Diablo stuff.
Because I want to talk about this little mom and pop indie game called Path of Exile.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and lean the seat back and close my.
So the new Atlas passive skill tree is out for people to play with. I'd highly recommend you doing so. It's always a good idea of how you're going to path and Starling. Of course, there's a ton of YouTube guides out there, so you have no idea what you're doing. You can obviously just watch someone do it. I love these things. I love planning them out and knowing what I want to go to. But the thing I wanted to touch on here were the interesting things that we kind of mentioned last week is now they've got these special nodes here on the right and left, right at the gate, that you can basically say, I don't want to do that content anymore. So don't ever show it to me. So I can be like, don't do rituals, don't do blights, don't do mirrors, don't do metamorphs, don't do heists, no breaches, no abysses, no expedition, no harvest.
So
no
could
legion.
you like know a lot of them to like specifically only get one?
Exactly.
Yeah. Just no.
Yeah. So if there's something that you really love doing or like something if you're played Trade League, like maybe there's something that.
So people are going to find some way to really abuse currency in one of them and then everybody will know to only get that one?
I mean, I don't know.
Harvest, for example,
I can't
there's a way to get currency.
I mean, you don't want to not do harvest. Like you're fucking out of your mind if you're like.
That's what I'm saying. Like harvest. Make it to where you can only do harvest.
I would say I don't know. I guess it depends. Like I don't know that if you straight up say no other content, that it's 100% chance to get harvest because it like opens up your map to get harvest every time. I don't think that's how it works, but I don't know for sure because I've never no one's ever done this. So
yeah,
I would assume you can heavily weight it, but I would assume you can't absolutely guarantee. But maybe if the other stuff isn't even a possibility, then it's 100% guaranteed. I don't know. but it's pretty sweet because there's some stuff like I don't know that after I get my currency from Metamorph, like, will I want to ever see a Metamorph again? I don't know. Will I ever want to do ritual altars if I feel comfortable on currency? I mean, I'm not really chasing any uniques this league, so probably not. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I would definitely be excited to play around with, for sure. So I think that's pretty cool. And then the big keystones also wanted to touch on. So there's the two big ones that they alluded to last week where you could basically make monsters in your maps do 25% less damage, but have 50% more life, which is awesome. So if you do a fuck ton of damage, you can basically just like never die, which would be a great choice for hardcore, especially if you're playing like a meta AF build. This is going to be pretty huge for hardcore because these monsters just do 25% less damage, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And there's an option on the other side that's monsters deal 25% more damage. So if you don't give a shit about dying, like your softcore and you're already a glass cannon, the benefit is the monsters have 25% less life, so they'll just die faster. But so will you. So,
yeah, right.
Mix
I mean,
match.
you're getting one shot anyways,
Yeah.
right? So a one shot's
Pretty
a one
much.
shot. So.
Pretty much. So that would be like, I think this would be a good choice, softcore or early league, because maybe you don't have the damage, especially if you're not playing something meta. I usually do softcore SSF. I don't really have a crazy desire to boss rush in the they're doing the hardcore SSF Uber boss challenge thing, which is super interesting, and I'm gonna tune it. But
I don't even play PoE for real, but that still interests me. Like I still pay attention to that.
I will
like,
definitely be paying attention to it. I won't be competing.
Even people who've just dabbled a little bit still understand like enough to be like, oh, this guy's trying the boss, let's watch. And it's when they die, they die. So it's entertaining to watch people attempt this and get smoked. So
I think it's more interesting. Like the private leagues are a bit more interesting when they take out builds. Like, everyone and their mom's gonna be playing DD for this boss rush event, which is kind of cringe. So it's just like broken. It's literally just broken, and they're not going to balance anything this run. So I think most people that are playing this boss rushing thing are probably going to be playing that, which kind of sucks. But I think it'd be like way interesting to like watch like people that play non-meta stuff and like try to go for these Uber bosses. Like I'm going to be trying to go for these Uber bosses, of course, and I'm definitely not playing any kind of meta build whatsoever. I of course have done what I always do.
Better meta for some Uber Elder.
Oh, I'm going to Uber, period. I mean, I've taken Venom Guard to the highest level. Maybe I could do it again. I don't know. We'll see.
They need Ultra Elder. They need, this to step it up.
Well,
after Uber,
they're going to have like a hard mode, Path of Exile. And so like, that's going to be Uber. It's going to be another layer of Uber. And they also have this Valley of Darkness mod. Rare monsters in your map have one additional modifier, and again, rare monsters now have like the special arch nemesis modifiers because this could be super deadly. They don't like show like what the huge benefit of is, other than obviously like more item quant or better drops. Or better drops should be, but I think they should probably say that for people that have no idea. Right. There's a singular focus. Maps have two to be favored maps, but non-favored maps in your maps drop as basic currency items instead. So if there's favored maps in Path of Exile, it means you get to pick what your favorite maps are because you're like, I like this layout. It feels really smooth. So I want to run Strand. I want to run whatever. I want to run that map and that map only. And so you can say any map that's not a favored map, like just give me currency for it instead. So this would be a great late game option to just like farm endlessly. Shadow stepping maps cannot be your favorite maps. Maps found in your place has a 1% to have a special implicit for each different map you have favored. So if you have a ton of different maps, this could be a good option. This one's kind of cool, and this would be a really good early league pick. It says your maps cannot be modified by fragments. So like early league, you won't have a ton of fragments to be running and juicing all your maps anyways, but your maps have a 50% chance more chance to have extra content. So like all the special league modifiers. That's going to be really, really good early league.
50% chance is pretty big.
Yeah. And plus you're just not going to have those frags. So there's literally no downside early league to run this. 100% you should get that. Wandering Path, notable Atlas, grant nothing. 100% increase small effective Atlas passes. So like if you don't want any of the notables and you just want to like the juice that the non-big ones give you. This could be an interesting choice. I'd be curious to see what people are going to do with this. I think maybe juicing this, well, maybe not because you won't have notables. I was going to say you could juice that and then like pick the ones that don't give you any leagues, but those are notables. So never mind. And then the opposite side of that, you have your maps have increased pack size per allocated noble, but the small passives grant nothing. And that could be a really good option later on because the small things aren't that insane. It's like 0.5 chance for map ops to be duplicated, increased quant 1% per small notable. Yeah. So like that's not that crazy later on. So that might be a good pickup. And then they also changed like the Eldritch stuff, and Eldritch stuff is really, really strong. And we're also probably going to be seeing more Eldritch currency. They did say that they're going to be increasing like what the bosses drop as far as currency, which is great because I think the Eldritch crafting is actually pretty interesting. If we get more currency, then we can do that more. So all plus. What else do we have here? We kind of talked about that one last week. Yeah, and this is kind of Eldritch Juice. So yeah, like big changes here. All in all, nothing really taken away. So the classic favorites from last league are still going to be here. Like you're still going to be doing like probably Harbinger. You're probably going to be juicing up, like the Shrine and the Strong Boxes early league. You're going to be juicing up Harvest. And again, you'd be crazy not to run Harvest this league because it is a map mod from Kirak. And it's obviously Harvest is really good. So if you don't like Harvest, sorry, and then Essences are still nutty. Essences are really, really strong. So, but yeah, go ahead and play with that if you guys are into that, or watch a YouTube guide on, what the pros are doing.
The nose to click.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. I love that. Path of Exile has been dropping like a bunch of little teasers as well. I think this stuff is really cool, but at the same time, it's like meh for me. All right. So basically, last league, they introduced like these special drops that only drop from the new bosses, right? And if you get both of them, both halves of this like coin that only drop from these bosses, and they happen to match like the same skill, this says like whatever, then you basically get this extra ascendancy, which is just nuts. Which is really cool for
I remember that
trade league, because
SSF you'll never get it, right?
No, ever. It's really cool for trade, but now with this, the Uber, they're basically getting these like special ascendancy skills that just don't exist. So each ascendancy has one, and these things are just absolutely bonkers. And I think that this is cool because like it's more chase for trade league. These are completely build defining like special abilities, and I think that's cool. But at the same time, like SSF, it's like, well, it's content I'll never see or touch, and like that fucking blows. But I could get crazy lucky.
I wonder what the trade league values were on some of these things last league.
Yeah, I would think like the really good ones would be like expensive. But also there was a drop off, which we'll talk about too in a second. Chris Wilson kind of talked about it, of like the Lost Ark happened and the what's that game you're playing? Elden Ring.
Yeah.
There's a big Elden Ring drop off, but
so good.
Yeah, like crazy cool stuff. I just wish it was in reach for me as SSF Andy. But anyways. And then Baeclast happens, pretty shortly after the big announcement. The Baeclast is like full of like, really dedicated Path of Exile streamers. It's like the new meta of Path of Exile, like we're the Diablo podcast, let's be real. Right. And so they get Chris Wilson on there, which is kind of like the equivalent of us getting Wyatt Chang.
And Wyatt, Diablo, if you guys are just tuning in, we got Wyatt on the podcast in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so just throwing that out there.
And it's interesting because like to me on the surface, it's like I don't know. To me, sometimes it feels like they're attacking Chris, which is just like wild to me. But they all like I guess they know he did that multiple times and stuff like that. But he had some really really interesting stuff to say about Path of Exile, sure, and he did talk about how there's a big drop off of the players for Lost Ark and players for the Elden Ring, but he talked about PoE 2 quite a bit, which was like really really interesting. He talked about the PoE 2 campaign quite a bit, which I found to be really interesting. Obviously, he knows I wish you could have heard some of this because I know you hate the Path of Exile campaign. Like you just don't really enjoy it.
It's bad, dude. It's so bad, dude.
And it's come a long way, but yeah, like it's I don't mind it.
I mean,
because
it's a campaign. I don't want to. Nobody wants to. Like, I say it's bad, and I just say that I'm forced to do it. It'd be like every season in Diablo being forced to play the campaign. Like, I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that.
Well, we used to have to.
I know. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, and we don't.
But that's the problem with Diablo 3 is like it's not a dynamic experience every time. It's like you're gonna play monk and you're gonna like put these skills on your bar and like go. Whereas Path of Exile, like most of the time I'm going through the campaign. It's totally different. Anyways, but I don't think it's a very fun campaign. And Chris Wilson talked about how like Act 3, like because it's so convoluted and that doesn't flow at all. Like they see a big drop off of players. Like obviously there's a ton of drop off in Act 1 of like the total noobs. In Act 3, they see like another huge drop off because it's not super easy to follow, according to him. And he said, like, like we made this campaign as a bunch of us in our garage, like years and years ago. Like we never thought it would pop off. But yeah, he talked about a ton about the Path of Exile 2 campaign and how it's going to be like much more catered towards like new player experience, but at the same time, like a lot more fun for those of us like returning league after league and something that'll be a lot more exciting. So he definitely hyped up the Path of Exile 2 campaign quite a bit.
Okay.
What else?
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that PoE 2 has potential to be like one of the best games ever made. Even if I don't love it, I'm still going to respect what it has potential to be. Like, and it's going to be crazy as they start to get closer to that launch window. Man, there's going to be so much pressure on them. It's going to, maybe not for the world, but for ARPG fans, it's going to be like, cyberpunk levels of hype. Like people are expecting probably crazy shit from it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously like it's. Again, people ask me all the time, like, what are you more excited for? I am more excited for PoE 2 because it's a sure thing in my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Diablo 4,
I think
I'm so excited.
You're telling me to bet money what's going to end up, like what has potential to be the better game, D4 or PoE 2? I think PoE 2's, from what I've seen, looks more promising. Yeah. Like, and the track record, I think, looks better too. So,
yeah.
I would put my money on PoE as well.
And that same thing, the same argument is like, if they both came out the same day, what are you going to play? And I say D4, but not because it's the sure thing. I say D4 because like, it's a gamble. Like it could be really fun. Or
that's what I want to be better. Right. I want D4 to be better.
But in my brain, I'm like, well, if it's a dead meme and like I play it for a week, I know Path of Exile 2, this glorious, robust game that I absolutely love, is just waiting for me. So
Blizzard needs to just buy GGG. And then say, listen, we have this beautiful art for Diablo 4 in this world. Now you guys get to do the end game activities and the itemization. But we're going to design, like, we're going to visually and make the game. You do all of the...
Yeah, and then hire the Lost Ark boys to do networking and combat.
Yeah. That's fake, man. Listen, I'm down, dude. That would be the game that ends all games, man. They would like literally crush every other game on the planet at that point.
One of the things that Chris said during this interview, he's like, in Path of Exile 2, there's like maybe it's like a skill that you got a two-hand sword and you like do like an uppercut with the sword and the mobs fly up, and then you want to follow it up with like a combo. It's like it sounded very.
Is that some Lost Ark stuff?
Yeah, that's very Lost Ark, right?
Ooh.
Right?
Listen, man. Lost Ark, oh my God. If they stole Lost Ark combat, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
It's done.
Done.
Like I'm a PoE fanboy at that point. Like sign me up. Like I'm preaching to everybody. So there's no way they could. There's no way. Like they can't. I don't have faith that they have the skill to pull that off, to pull off Lost Ark combat. It'd have to be a full redesign of their entire combat system.
One of the things I thought was interesting too is they talked about this time and time again that we're in Path of Exile 2, like things will just like be better. Like items will drop like well rolled, and so it's like less clutter. But I guess they've kind of like gone back on this idea because it like just didn't. I guess it just didn't hit like internally.
So still loot filters.
Yes, the loot filters. I'm sure they have like some other things in the works, but they didn't go too deep into it. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Because in this, in my mind, I'm like, oh well, performance is going to go up because like we're going to see less vomit. But I think the vomit might still be happening. We don't know. But yeah, I didn't think anything else was like. Obviously, you went into the league that's coming up in Sentinel and the recombobulating items and the all that sounds super interesting. But I mean, it's new league, so we'll just have to see and wait and play it. But one of the things I did find to follow up all this is, so now that I showed just a minute ago, like what you can take out. And you have that option now in Path to Baeclast in the upcoming league. You'd be like, fuck Breach. I never want to see it again. Right? And so there was a big Reddit voting of like, what would you take away? What would you block?
Yeah.
And I thought this was kind of interesting because the number one is Abyss, which is nuts to me because you absolutely, on every character, like you're probably wearing a Stygian Vise unless you're going for a unique belt. And you got to put an eye in that Stygian Vise. So like, why would you want to block Abyss? Other than like, it's like maybe not fun for people. But I don't think Abyss is the worst league by any shape.
I mean, fun factor usually is the highest weight in people's eyes, right?
Yeah.
So it must just not be enjoyable. What's 2?
Number 2 is Heist, which I am 100% in agreement with. Heist
is that your number 1?
That's absolutely my number 1. I hate that, like, Heist, you got to gear up your stupid followers every fucking league and then, like, level up which, like, Heist type or group you can go through. And it's just so annoying. And all you want to do is Grand Heist. And all you really want, ultimately, is, like, the lenses to make alternate quality gems. And you want the uniques that are special to Heist. It's the only reason to run it. And it's just,
Gearing
like,
up followers does suck. Doing that in Diablo 3 with the follower revamp sucks.
Yeah.
Like I don't even like it there.
It's so much worse.
Followers shouldn't exist. Like they should never be a thing unless you play a pet class and then you're like signing up for it.
Yeah.
So
the third one is Metamorph, which I also agree with. Like the catalysts are very strong. There's no way around that. And like you kind of farm up until you get the catalyst you want and like never touch Metamorph after that. But I agree. It is not a very fun league mechanic, like the little Build-A-Bear thing. Blight, I don't agree with, coming in rank 4. This is the tower defense. I actually like it. I think it has a good place.
Blight was actually fun for me too. I actually liked Blight.
I think it changes up the pace, so I'm all for it. Coming after that is Breach, and I get this because it's so old. Like Breach has been in the game, and I guess the same thing goes for
Breach
Abyss.
Is the cracks in the ground, right? And then you go under.
No, that's Abyss.
Oh, okay.
Breach is the hand, and then you touch the hand, and it like grows.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep.
And it gives you like the shards, and the shards can be like a good amount of XP once you like get the realm open or whatever. But the like uniques are kind of dated, and there's not a ton of chase stuff outside of Cheula, which I know I'm talking foreign language to you now. But Harvest coming in at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So kind of like right there in the middle. Like people either love Harvest or hate Harvest.
Yeah.
I'd be curious, like if people like really hate Harvest, or it's just like obviously like the crafting Harvest is like just poggers, but going in there and like killing the dudes and then sitting at the station and like reforging items like in the middle of a map is not fucking great.
I played, and I don't know what the changes are. I did play Harvest League a little bit, and I do remember when you'd see the Harvest pop up in your map, and you're like, it was such a momentum kill. Like I'd be grinding the Atlas, right? And then it's like you see the thing and you're like, fuck. But you didn't want to pass it up though. You know, it's like, all right, well, let me just go in here and do the thing.
It's like minimum 20 chaos orbs for free. It's crazy.
Yeah, but you're at a dead stop though. You're just like, okay. And then for me, as somebody that's slow with it, it's like, okay, 20 minutes later, I'm done and I'm out. And it's like, man, I just spent 20 minutes on that or 15 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I'd much rather just like go in there, have to fight some stuff, and then like a horde crafting station in my hideout gets filled with like random shit. I don't know. Something that doesn't break up the gameplay for sure. But I still enjoy it. I can't not enjoy Harvest. For me, I just I like Harvest. Legion,
Legion.
Towards the end, which I'd still like Legion. I think Legion holds up. I think there comes a point where you no longer really want Legion. So like you could spec against it later on if you have all the special gems you want or whatever. And then Ritual, I'm surprised it's like that far down. It is a really great way of getting currency, but I don't know. I really hate stationary like circles, like Ultimatum and Ritual.
I don't like stationary circles either, but Ritual was easy for a novice player.
Yeah,
as a newbie, Ritual was one of the league mechanics that instantly made sense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I understand how this works and I like it, Yeah. So interesting.
And after that, we have Expedition. Which
sucks. I don't know if people like that shit.
Yeah, it's good. Like ROG is really, really kind of fun. ROG crafting is pretty interesting. Yeah. And gambling for bases is powerful. I wouldn't say it's fun, but it's definitely strong. And Delirium is second to last, or is last, which is crazy. It's like it's the mirrors, and like you open it and then you rush through the map, and then you have to go back and pick everything up
and pick all the loot up. Yeah.
People
that was the one that killed performance too. That was the one that introduced performance issues, wasn't it?
Yeah,
they
the
probably
fog
fixed
was
since then.
Yeah,
it's better. But I remember like being on my computer's a beast, and it was like, what? I'm lagging out here. Like, hold on, what's going on?
And I agree with that. Like the sentiment someone just said is like Delirium is the cluster jewels, which is one of the most positive changes the Path of Exile I think has ever made, is being able to I can basically make my own skill tree. Which I think is really cool. But yeah, I thought that was fascinating. Yeah, for me personally. And then that's it for Path of Exile.
Nice.
Lost Ark Online has we kind of touched on this earlier. Like they made an announcement, a month ago of what's coming April, May, and so this is kind of just like reiterating what's coming in May. So like the first Legion raid's coming in May. And that's actually really cool. That's the hard stuff. It's like a proper raid from like World of Warcraft of what you're thinking, right? Where you go in, you kill as much as you can, but if you don't finish it all, you can leave and come back the next day and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm curious if you guys are still playing. So in the comments on the YouTubes or even in stream, if you're live, just let me know if you're still grinding Lost Ark or if you're burning out a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to gauge how much attention span it has, our longevity it has on people.
What's the current, is the count still pretty good, or
I don't know, do they on Twitch? I don't know, and I wonder if Steam still posts active. That's not bad.
It's not bad. I know my IRL brother is still crazy into it.
Is he? I'm glad he's your IRL one, as opposed to
right,
fake brother.
New Guardian raid's coming out, and of course the Destroyer, that big 2-hand hammer class. This is pretty fun. I actually never leveled that one to max, but I did play it. But yeah, open world activities coming. Got a big cock on the screen.
Wait, what? Easy.
And new guild activities, and there's of course those new daily activities that they have in the game
outfits
now.
they're putting in.
Yeah.
Why?
Right. I agree, man. This is a shit that I kind of expected, cosmetic wise. And then when they rolled out that first,
I already knew
when they rolled out that first cosmetic pack, and everyone's basically a Shadow Knight or a Death Knight, I was like, oh shit, we're actually gonna get good cosmetics stuff. But now it's this is what I expected.
Oh, you want your, Eastern schoolgirl outfit? Here you go. Going to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we already knew that stuff existed, but that is disappointing a little.
Yeah, I mean, again, I like Lost Ark. I'm glad that game is waiting for me anytime I want to play it again. Not a big deal. You can go as hard or as soft as you want in that game. It doesn't matter. It's fucking free. So I still think it's a good thing overall. I'm just not crazy into it right now. Plus, the new league's coming out tomorrow. Let's be real. That's my juice. And then finally, Last Epoch has finally confirmed multiplayer testing has begun. Officially.
Oh, no.
So
like this? Nice. So is it open? Closed beta?
Closed
beta? Okay.
But this is a big thing that people are waiting on, and obviously the game's dead in the water if it doesn't have multiplayer as an ARPG kind of thing. I mean, although Path of Exile, now a ton of people group up, but whatever. Yeah. It's got to be there.
It is kind of weird though, right? You think about it. It is Path of Exile
I mean, there are definitely a good chunk of people. Like, there's the Empyrean crew that, like, they just melt everything in the game, absurd amounts of currency, and like, there's that niche there. Yeah. But I would say that probably
they don't incentivize it like Blizzard does. I think Blizzard, that's one of the things that they excel at. They're so good at promoting multiplayer in all of their games. Like, because that gets your friends playing. You want your friends to play the game because you're like, hey, I'm incentivized to play with people. I play with my buddies.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Magic find increases in Diablo 3 when you party up. Experience pluses.
Just... but yeah, last Epoch again, showing a ton of promise. I think that this could be like the new Grim Dawn eventually, like maybe even better. Like, this could be like the next kind of Path of Exile. Like, Path of Exile, if we talk about its like history and its rise to powers, because like D3 fucking sucked. Like, at the end of the day, like D3 like just stopped, and Path of Exile was like able to gain all this momentum. This could be like the future Path of Exile. Like, maybe D4 sucks and PoE 2 like doesn't hit the mark, and like last Epoch.
The stars aligned for PoE, man. Diablo went to this big hiatus of no updates for a couple years, and PoE was pumping it out. So crazy for sure. Look how far they come in. It's actually nutty. Their patch notes every league are like, what?
I know, man. Well, besides this league, what? But the content is still nutty.
Yeah, it's still content, though. Yeah. Makes a Diablo player, moist.
Salivate.
All right.
I mean, I remember. Do you remember like those days? We would get the data mine D3 patch notes, and it's like, oh, like what's hitting, what's changing for Barb? Like those were exciting times, but never again. That was like literally 2016 was like the last time that happened.
Yeah, it's not enough though. I remember when seasons first hit, thinking how dumb of an idea it was, because I'm like, you're gonna reset my character? Absolutely not. And then I was like, there's no way I'm playing this shit. And then I played it, and I was like, oh, this is the best thing ever.
Good. Right.
Like, I understand it.
It's funny.
I never would have bought into that idea though.
Same.
Ever.
Same.
So I was like, this is so stupid. But
we were also coming from that like MMO mindset of like just that continual infinite progression.
Well, they reset us on expansions though, and I don't care about that really. So I don't know. It's weird. You know what I find myself kind of casually doing in WoW a lot now is just cosmetic farming, and it's really weird. But there's like something about jumping in and not competitively. Like I did all this season in retail WoW. I knocked out my mythic pluses and got the mythic achievement mount and like did all that stuff, and it took me like about 2 weeks to do it. I went really hard and knocked it out, and so I was proud of myself. I pugged most of it, which is a feat in itself. And then I got the mount, I got all that stuff done, and then so there's the intense competitive nature there. I did arenas, I did rated battlegrounds, and it's got that. But I can also just log in and I'm just chilling. I want to go farm some cosmetics.
Yeah,
and I'm sitting back in my chair, killing things, and so I think the different styles of play are appealing. Yeah. And I hope that D4 gets some of that. I hope that they have things that I can do that. Let's jump into some Fluff hates and PChild loves.
Okay, I have both.
Okay, I'll start. Mine's
okay.
Pretty easy, pretty basic for me this week. I had, was it yesterday? What was it? No, 2 days ago. It was Wednesday. No, Tuesday. Tuesday, my power went out at around noon because some idiot crashed their car into a telephone pole down the street. And my power was out from noon until around 7:30 p.m. And that's a long time to like not have. When was the last time you didn't have power for a solid 7 hours? You remember?
When I moved in, like there was a lot of. It actually happened pretty frequently because I think they're still kind of like setting the grid for this like new construction area.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it sucked. It was hot.
Yeah.
No AC. I couldn't cook anything. Didn't want to open the fridge. I didn't know how long it was going to be out for.
Yeah, dude.
No internet. I'm supposed to be working from home, right? All I have is
no
my
internet's
cell phone.
way worse than no food.
Yeah, like no internet, no power, no AC.
Right.
And I had my cell phone, which was fully charged, but I'm like, okay, if I drain the battery on this guy, I'm going to go sit in the car to charge it.
Yeah.
Like it was, so first world problems. It was actually nice to not have it for a little bit, but it does make you appreciate, like, man, take for granted the lifestyle that we have, until it's taken away for a little bit.
Sure.
So kids were annoying AF. I'm like, wait, is this what you guys do if there's nothing to entertain you? Go do something.
Yeah.
So, what do you got?
Fluff loves.
Mm-hmm.
A new PoE League coming out tomorrow. I love PoE League starts. It's most
Are you
addictive.
Gonna cosplay?
I'm not. Honestly, I like Lindsay was in charge of a lot of that. Like she helped and kind of brainstorm ideas for me, and then like would do it on the day.
So how did you forget?
Know that I'll be doing a lot of that now, but yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go with a Forbidden Right poison build.
Okay.
Just kind of big brain. Excited about it. There's a lot of self-harm with Forbidden Right. So we're going to have to try to counteract that. And
you're good at that, though. You do that a lot.
I do that a lot.
You do that a lot. It fits. It's fitting.
So I'm excited for that. And then Fluff hates. And I've talked about this once before because I think this happened forever ago when I like built these computers and we had a podcast. But man, I got a 3080 Ti finally.
Yeah.
And I go to put this in my game PC.
That shit won't even fit.
And I have a 1080 Ti, which is not that much smaller. It is definitely smaller, but it's not that much smaller. But I go to put it in, and apparently, when I went to put it in, I like slightly bumped my RAM, also slightly bumped my M.2. And so I like put it in, install it, and it's not booting. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's not booting. So I had to like almost take my entire computer apart to figure out what went wrong. And I was like, finally, I figured out the M.2 was loose. And I was like, okay, well, screw that in and reinstall that. Okay. It still wasn't the problem. Like one of my sticks of RAM it just gotten a little bumped. And the 4 sticks.
I mean, you had to bump it pretty hard. They lock in.
Right? So that was
maybe
really
if you bump the lock. I don't know.
Fucking annoying. So I spent like should have been, it's a new GPU. So it's like put it in.
20-minute install. Yeah.
There was a third power cord, which is crazy. Like a 1080 is 2 8 prongs and the 38 is 3. And then I was like, okay, I figured that out. Like 6 hours, 7 hours of debugging, like awful. That's just the most frustrating thing in the world because you're just like, I have no idea, right?
Did you do homework on your power supply before you went to the big
there
boy?
we go. And so I read the box and it's like the 650 watts was more than enough. It was running it fine, but the recommended is 750 plus. So I was like, okay, I got an 850 and I got a Corsair. I had a Corsair before. It's a modular power supply. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll just get the 850. It'll ship. I just pull it out from the bottom. I put the cords in the new one. Bing, bang, boom. We're good to go. Right? It's the point of a modular power supply. So I get the new power supply. It is the same brand, same like exact fucking thing, just 200 watts more. And none of the cables work. Like none of the old cables that went to my power supply, the old one, the 650 watt, will work for the new one. So I literally had to replace every single fucking one. And I was like one at a time testing. I'm like, oh, okay, look, maybe this cable will work, right? Like maybe the CPU one will be fine. Maybe the motherboard will be fine. Maybe the peripheral ones will be fine. None of them. All had to be replaced. So
you're lucky you didn't ruin things when you bumped listen. All right, lesson learned, never let Fluff trust your PC. If you're bumping memory and M.2 is hard enough to knock them loose, either A, you didn't install them right the first time, or B, you're like banging
I've
shit
built
around
like
in there.
a billion computers. I know what I'm doing.
Too. So there's some things. So I ran into the same boat. I think I had a 650 as well for my 1080 Ti and stuff. And then when I got my 3090, I was like, okay, let's look up maximum power draw if I'm using 100% GPU and overclock and 100% CPU and all that. And I was like, man, I probably should upgrade. So
same.
I went through the same thing, man. New power supply and rerouting all new cables and all that good stuff. And then, if you did it right, you ran independent lines for each of your plugs for your card, right? So, you're giving that look like you didn't. You just piggyback that shit off one cable.
No. Why? You can't even have 3 off one 8 prong. There's only like 2.
They make them. You could, but there's some adapters out there you could buy to screw your stuff up. That's cool, man. So anyway, you got it working?
Got it working. And 3080 Ti is going on the game machine. I've upgraded to whatever resolution, not the 4K, but the
1440p.
Yeah, 1440.
Oh, you got a new monitor too?
No, it was already 1440 cable. I just wasn't utilizing it.
Oh,
I've got the ROG, 240 hertz craziness.
Oh, you got a 240 1440p? That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice monitor, man.
It is. I was a 1080p gamer before because it's like, well, it's whatever the stream sees. But
yeah, once you go high frame rate, you can't go back.
Honestly, not that big of an upgrade. I mean, really, I don't really see much of a difference.
For frame rate?
The frame rate, the hertz.
Oh, you're talking about the resolution?
But yeah, the resolution, not that big of a change.
It's pretty noticeable to me.
I mean, maybe because I've only played Path of Exile, but
yeah, it could be. So text is huge. So like in MMOs, like WoW, like where you're reading stuff, you can definitely notice the difference. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you got the juice. The frames probably feel amazing, and
yeah, I'm like more excited that I'm just like ready. I'm good for another 4 years.
Just PoE and put the graphics on ultra and have a good day.
Yep. And I've definitely noticed an increase in performance in Path of Exile for sure. I would get like small micro stutters if there's like I'm opening a map right away, and now it's like that's totally gone. So like the 3080 Ti is definitely nutty. But
well, let's jump into some Twitter questions.
Do it.
If you guys want to submit, listen. Next week we have Wyatt on the show.
Not 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Next episode. Sorry,
next episode.
Not next week, but next episode. You guys want to submit questions to the podcast? Join our Discords. You can submit them at the New Meta. Obviously, I'm going to filter out all the troll questions, but if you have legitimate questions, it doesn't have to be Diablo related. If it's a good question, we'll throw it on there. Join the Discords. You can drop it in either Ask the New Meta section, or you can tweet at us on Twitter. And either way. The first question comes from Dirt Nap. He says, what life advice can just go F off?
That's a good question. What life advice can fuck off?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have some. Like, people always talk about the white picket fence, American dream, wife and kids stuff. Like, I can go F off. I mean, I have that personally. Like, literally have that with the white picket fence and all. But like, it's not for everybody. Like, people always try to tell other people what they should aspire to have.
You're preaching to the choir right now.
I'm like, go fuck off. Like, do what you want. Like, nobody should tell you what you want your life to be.
Yeah.
Like, if that's what you want, go get it. But people that don't,
or shame you for
want
not
wife and
having
kids
the same thing, right?
Have wife and kids. You know what I mean? If you want a boat, go buy a boat. I don't care about a boat. Go do what you want to do.
Oh, yeah.
So that's mine.
I agree with that sentiment.
People always try to force their lifestyle and views on you, and it's like, I'm happy for you, but that's not my thing. So,
yeah, concur. You could apply that to so many things, like religion, life, fuck,
games, everything. Literally everything. Yeah. Do you have one, or are you just going to piggyback?
I'm piggyback.
Okay. Elias98 says, what's the one free app everyone should get on their phone? You should have saved that question for next week, sir.
Oh, nice.
Our next podcast. Yeah. Because it would be DI, right? I don't know, man. The one free app?
I mean, the free app I use the most is, it's probably Instagram, sadly.
Really?
Yeah.
Ever open Instagram?
Obviously.
I would say of all the, man, I personally waste a lot of time on Reddit.
Okay. I don't like the app. I prefer the web browser.
I actually prefer the app. I prefer the app to most.
Okay.
Or anything, I think. But yeah, I spend a lot of time in Reddit. Just because you can read actual good things there, you can see memes there. And it's got every subject covered, So if you spend time and tell Reddit things you like, it's actually a pretty decent feed. But YouTube, how's it not YouTube?
Yeah, that's a good call out. YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah. What dating app? Let's switch it up. What's the dating app you should have?
We talked about this 100%. Okay, so Tinder is a total fucking joke. Right?
Tinder's a joke. Okay.
Tinder's a total joke. All bots or just really fucking weird people. So just don't even bother with that shit. Bumble is kind of cool if you're like an attractive person, because you can go incognito. And so like only the people you're like, yeah, I would give them the time of day can like basically swipe on you.
Okay.
And I like that a lot.
But if you're ugly, no chance on Bumble. Got it.
But yeah, like if I was public, then I just get like my phone blows up because there's like 1,000 like, girls that I would not be interested in swiping on me. And that can get kind of exhausting and overwhelming. So it's a thing. But honestly, like at the end of the day, like Hinge is the most active, I would say.
Hinge? I've never even heard of that before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hinge is like where most people are. Like it's the new hotness.
Okay. The new thing.
So
it's not Match.com anymore?
You can, if you pay money on Hinge.
Met on eHarmony?
Set up. No, eHarmony is a total fucking joke.
No, I know. It's just I met on eHarmony is a joke that I made on my stream because
gotcha.
I'd always introduce people in Diablo and they'd be like, let's go do stuff together. I'm like, met on eHarmony.
But yeah, like Hinge, you can pay and you can set filters. And if you're serious about dating, like that would probably be the route. Because you can be like, don't match me with people that have kids, or don't match me with like
smokers.
People that like want a relationship. Don't match me with
just looking for a fling, no relationship.
No, it's a thing. Yeah, that's like an
cool.
option. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Looking up. All right. Then there's dating apps from Fluff. New section.
There it is.
Hex says, I've recently been dealing with harassment online. What's the worst online harassment you've ever faced?
I mean, I think the worst harassment ever was, honestly, was that BlizzCon. Oh God, what year was that when you, me, and Blood got to test D3 changes?
Oh yeah,
was that 2019?
It was 19. Yep.
Yeah, and just by chance, like we were talking to the D3 devs, and they're like, "Oh yeah, and the new patch is on the console in the D3 station." So we're like, "Oh fuck yeah!" And so like all three just like ran over there, sat down, and couldn't figure out how to play on console, but we're like looking at the changes for the sets. And
Blood actually had played console too. I'm like, what do you mean you don't remember? He's like, I don't remember. That's funny as hell.
And so we just like, well, we'll tweet out a leak. Each one of us, there's 3 new sets, right? And we'll tweet out whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tweeted out the barb thing, and I was like, oh, like they made a small nerf, which in fucking hindsight, I still stand by my fucking statement, to the belt or something like that. And the barbs just like they were on my stream every day, just like harassing me. They were trying to get me banned on the forums. They were like literally nonstop talking shit. And it was just so annoying because the people that were on that forum, they're like just circle jerking each other and like upvoting their posts. And I don't know. The barb forums are so fucking toxic.
Reddit's weird like that.
It's not Reddit. This was the Diablo 3 official forums.
Oh, the official forums.
Yeah.
Nice. Even better.
So.
I've had 3 instances that stand out to me. The first one was and probably the most recent. I was getting stream sniped in TBC Classic trying to level my alt druid up to the point where this dude literally stream sniped me for like 2 weeks straight. Like any moment I went live, he would stream snipe me from the moment I was live until the moment I logged off my stream. And it wasn't like sometimes, it wasn't like a little bit. It was like instantly, as soon as he could see my position, he would come try to stream snipe me. And I had, I have some friends that work at Blue, and I was like, they saw it and they were like, tried to jump in and help. And like, they're like, man, there's really not like our policies don't really let us do much. That's just kind of the way it is, man. If you're on a PvP server, and I'm like, there's no form of harassment. We're talking about like 100+ hours of straight, farming. And it's like using third-party resources. Like, it's not like I can run away, right? Because he can see where I'm at. It's, like I got away the first time and I'm like, bitch, and then like, I'm like, how did he find me here? There was no way he should come look here. And then so I left the zone and went somewhere else. And then he's there too. And I'm like, yo, I'm getting stream sniped. Like, I'm not even big enough to get stream sniped. What is this? You know what I mean? So
people too much time on their hands.
Yeah, it was crazy. And the crazy part is like I was a full-time streamer and it was TBC launch. So like I was streaming like 12 hours a day. Like this kid was stream sniping me 12 hours a day for weeks. So pretty nutty. I had the same thing happen in GTA 5 where I guess like I had a lot of fun in GTA 5 going and I was pretty decent at PvP in GTA 5. So I would go into lobbies and just start, killing kids and they would get upset. And I guess I went and killed some guy who then had a bot account and he logged on his bot account. And I guess the hacks in GTA 5 are pretty disgusting. So they can actually set in their little hack program my gamer tag or online handle for GTA 5, and anytime I come online it notifies them that I'm online.
Wow.
And then they can jump to my server and then start harassing me. So I actually had some dude, and not only do they do that, they would DDoS. That program could DDoS as well. So they were DDoSing me and I had to completely get a new IP and then only play GTA 5 on a VPN. It was pretty sick. Yeah, that one was really brutal, and they did that for about 3 weeks before I figured out that they could DDoS, and then I got a new IP. Yeah, and then the other one was in stream. I had some guy heckling me in stream one time for a while, and this is before shadow bans on Twitch, so I'd ban him, and he'd go make a new account, and then ban him again, and he'd come back every day or so.
What a rat.
Yeah. And then the kind of a follow-up to that, Yaga says, everybody says their game is the most toxic community. What game have you played that's the most toxic?
Probably League of Legends.
I mean, I think this is all personal opinion based on the games you play, right? Because I do feel like everybody says that, but man, I don't know. It seems like every game, right? Diablo 3 actually has a pretty decent community. If I'm being honest, it's probably one of the better ones. I'm trying to think of one that's better. At least my community was always really awesome in Diablo 3, but GTA 5 is horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible. NBA 2K, absolutely horrible. I mean, just like, I would say 2K is probably worse than GTA 5 though. And everybody says League of Legends.
Yeah.
I don't play League, but
I don't play League either. I have. And like, even in my like very limited time, it's like, Jesus Christ, this is
WoW is even toxic now. I mean, you go do a dungeon in WoW, and if you don't know every single pull, then the party's like ripping you up. They're like, what are you doing, shit tank? Get out of here. Or, like your DPS is half mine, lol, like garbage, uninstall, quit, your dog water. It's just like, what? Hey, you need this item? Yeah, too bad. I'm disenchanting it, and they disenchant it right in front of you. I mean, it's like, it's like every online community feels that way. In all honesty, I honestly feel like Diablo has a community. I mean, there's toxic in Diablo 3 as well, but at least in their in-game communities, you can be like, hey, man, I need help running a T16 puzzle, and people will be like, yeah, I'll help you, man. No problem. I'll carry you. I'll power level you. Whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Anchor says, what's your favorite vintage arcade game? Did you ever go to the arcade? Did you ever play games?
Yeah. Gosh, vintage arcade game.
For me, I didn't go to arcade, but there was a Walmart that had arcade games near me growing up as a kid. They used to have arcade games in the lobby when you walked in. Do you have that?
I mean, no. I was kind of in the boonies growing up.
I mean, I kind of was too.
Yeah, you were, but I wish you didn't have anything like that.
Huh.
No, late though.
For me, it was TMNT. Somebody said in chat that was one that they had at the Walmart, and I spent tons of money there. And NBA Jam, dude, I spent so much money on NBA Jam. Like, I loved that game.
I can remember like being like totally blown away by the X-Men game.
Yeah.
But yeah, my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles experience was like game system. Maybe Mortal Kombat 2. There was like a summer camp that I did. Mortal Kombat 2 was there, and we played that.
Yeah, MK1, MK2. Last question we have for the day comes from Coda. Coda says, "Do you own a favorite piece of clothing? If so, what is it?" Oof, it's hard, man.
It is a hard one.
Yeah, I'm sure. I really love my PChild hat, honestly.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's, I'm thinking. I have things. I have pieces of clothing that I'll never wear that I have. Like I have some Kobe jerseys, some authentic Kobe jerseys, and like a Kurt Warner jersey, and like sports icons that I like. I'll buy their jerseys and then just put them in the closet and never wear them. My Diablo T-shirt that Blizzard gave me from BlizzCon, I'll never wear that. That's still hung up.
I like my like pink jeans. I also have pink shorts. Actually, I'm wearing them right now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Nice.
Did
you wear those on the date? You tell me you wore pink jeans on the date, right?
Oh, no, I did not.
Why not?
I just didn't.
Okay. That's it, man. That's all we had.
Cool.
You guys want to catch more of me? You can catch me on all the places at ThaPChild. Don't forget next podcast, which is going to be the 26th, half an hour late start time. We're going to start at 9:30 Central.
Yeah.
Wyatt, mother flipping Ching, it's going to be on the pod.
Nutty.
Crazy. So get your questions together. Fluff, where can they find you?
Lord _ Fluffy, double those underscores on the Twitter, and Lord of the Fluff on Instagram. We'll see you boys in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Peace.